Where was that dang light switch again? Hey, howdy, I'm Bandit, and rude customers can be a mixed bag, because sometimes it's like this,
Money is always right.
and sometimes it's more like this.
I would even keep you as a slave in my empire.
If you've had the pleasure of working with the general public, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You either have those customers who act smug and want to actually their way out of being the bad guy, or you have those customers who want to rip your head off because you put pickles on their sandwich and they asked for no pickles. But the customer is always right, I hear someone say from the back as I chuck a brick at their head. When someone hits you with the customer is always right, it really just means that it's a bad idea to argue with the customer, because nobody's going to be happy at the end of that situation. More often than not, you're just there for the paycheck, so it's not even worth it to call them out on their crap. But what motivates them to take it out on us wagees? In my opinion, it can be a multitude of things. Just a bad day, a sense of entitlement, or a lust for blood. I think it's time to share a story. There's a gardening store I deliver to regularly, and they'd never given me problems. Until one day, I pulled into the parking lot, did my usual thing of scanning the packages and stacking them up neatly by the door. But this time, the lady comes storming out of the side door, and she demands I put them inside, which I would have if she had asked, because apparently I'm the only one on my route that doesn't put them inside, which they've never asked me to do. And believe me, when I say I would have if they had asked, I would have. It happens all the time. People ask me to bring their packages inside, and I gladly oblige. She was probably just having a bad day, but did she really have to be such a jerk about it? I also used to work at a sandwich place, and my boss always wanted to make me work Saturday nights. Not only was it the night we were open the latest, but it was also the night we got the bar rush. So we usually had a line out the door, and everyone in the building was drunk. And let's just say that drunk people don't like to wait, especially when they're paying pandemic prices for a sandwich that probably isn't worth $9. The night manager would have none of it. He would just say, deal with it or get out. But for a minimum wage employee, that's a little scary. And that's another thing with rude customers, is kind of a power imbalance. You're worried about doing your job correctly, and they don't really have anything to worry about. They might get kicked out for being unreasonable, but most of the time there are no repercussions. In my experience, the best ways to deal with these kind of people is to get someone who has more power than you, like a manager or your boss or something, or just ignore them. It depends on job to job, but you know what I mean. Hold up, someone's trying to call me. Hello, hello? Yeah, okay. Hypocrite, you say? Well, I guess we'll have to talk about that. As the angry fella on the phone thoughtfully pointed out, we've all been in both positions, at least if you have a job. I'm sure that you've had an interesting interaction with an employee or a customer from either position where you walked away feeling frustrated. And sometimes you might feel you were being perfectly reasonable, but the employee walked away thinking you were the worst person they've ever seen. And isn't that just what it's like interacting with strangers, not knowing how they feel about you or how you feel about them? Oop, hang on, sorry, I'm getting another call. Autism diagnosis? Never heard of him. Don't call this number again. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So I already talked about reasons on the customer's end on why they might act like that, but what are some things that we as employees might be doing that set these people off? One reason might be that they want to feel like you care. They want to feel like they matter to you, and sometimes that's hard after a long shift or just a long week. You don't always have it in you to give everyone peak performance all of the time. You might service hundreds of customers in a week or even a day, and it's hard to keep up the persona. Sometimes the mask slips and you give a little bit of apathy or seem a little rude, and that might push them over the edge. Maybe they're having a bad week. Does this give them the go-ahead to treat you like that? Absolutely not. But are they going to treat you like that anyway? Yeah. It might also be an expectation versus reality sort of thing. Like, they're expecting you to treat them one way, but you treated them a different way. Even if you're not being mean, they see it as a threat, because things that are different are scary. But all jokes aside, it can be weird to expect one thing and have another thing happen. Could also be a repeated situation sort of thing, like last time they came in, the exact same thing happened to them last time, and this time it's worse because it happened again and they were really hoping it wouldn't. It could also be an age thing. Not always, but I noticed that older people usually expect some level of respect, like an I pay you, so I'm your boss sort of situation. Again, not always the case, but you know, with younger people, it's usually the stressed out long week sort of theory. Like you caught them at just the wrong moment and everything I guess what I'm trying to say with this whole thing is that communication and respect are important when being both a customer and an employee. Treat everyone how you want to be treated, and hopefully they'll do the same. Just remember that you matter and your decisions matter, so use that power wisely. Welcome to the end of the video. It was another short one, but I think I've learned a lot more about voice acting and editing, and I appreciate all your support and help. Have a good one. If you stuck it out all the way to the end, here's a picture of Juice. Everyone say hi to Juice.